Hello everyone and welcome back to the gameplay of the Settlers of Catan Seafarer expansion. Not much has changed, we're gonna continue on, but the only thing is I have moved all the other players' cards off the screen, and these are just our own cards for the milk players. I just thought it was too crowded, and then as we get more resources, it's gonna be hard to include everybody's card in the picture. And even if I did, it's gonna be so cramped that you probably cannot make out what each player has. So everything's off screen, and I'll take care of them as the game progresses. But right now, hopefully you can see what resources we have as a milk player. We have 3 bricks and 2 grain, and we also have 2 victory points from the development cards. So now we can just continue the game. The metal people shall now commence producing resources. 4, the tangerine people gets 2 grain, and the metal and the milk people gets 1 brick each. We don't have anything to do. Okay, so now let's roll for the milk player. 10. So milk and tomato each gets a wool. Alright, so we're going to use our 3-to-1 port to trading 3 of our bricks into a lumber. And we're gonna use it along with the other brick, wool, and grain to get a new settlement. And with this, we can now start building ship routes and go out there. I only did it because I have the resources. It's now Tangerine people's turn. Before I roll for resources, I'm going to use one of my development card, the Knight card. We're going to move that rubber away from our 8 and cover up this one. And since the milk player only has 1 card, we're gonna steal from the tomato player. Now we roll for resources. 7. I guess I didn't have to use the Knight card after all. So we're going to instead move the pirate to here, so we can steal another card from the metal player this time. No one has more than 7 cards, so nobody discards their cards. And for my turn, I'm just gonna use my 2-to-1 brick port to trade in 2 of my bricks into a lumber. And that's all I'm gonna do.
Tomato people's turn. I really don't like Tangerine player right now, but let's just move on. Roll for resources. 9. So I get an ore, and Tangerine people gets 2 ore. And I also get a lumber along with the metal player. Would anyone like my lumber? I'm willing to trade it away for either a grain or a brick.
I have a brick. I can trade it with you.
Okay, deal. And I also have an ore. I will trade it away for a grain. Any takers?
Okay, but I want more than 1 ore. You have to sweeten the deal for me.
Okay. 2 ores, will that do?
Okay, deal.
We will now spend the lumber, wool, brick, and grain to get a new settlement. And that ends our turn.
We will now commence resource production. 7. Nobody has more than 7 cards. Nobody discards. We shall now move the pirate over back to the Tangerine player and steal 1 random resource card from them. We will now spend a lumber and a wool to build a new ship. We're that much closer to the gold field now. Excellent. Okay, milk people's turn. Let's roll for the resources. 10. So we get a wool, and so does a tomato player. And I got the 2 ores from the tomato player earlier because I have the ore port. I can basically trade these 2 ores away for any resource I want. And right now I could go out to sea and build a ship, but I'm gonna wait till I have enough resources to build 2 ships at once, so I can build 1 here and 2 here. In case that the tomato player decides to block me, then I don't waste my time building ship routes here. But my turn is over. I'm not gonna do anything right now. Okay, Tangerine people's turn to produce resources. 5. We got 3 ores from here. 2 from the city, 1 from the settlement. And we're going to go ahead and use our development card, the Knight card. We're going to move this ship, pirate ship, away and block the middle player. And we're going to steal 1 resource from them. And we now have 3 active knights. So we got the largest army achievement and get 2 extra points. And we have 10 cards in total, and that's too many. We must spend them all so that we don't get mugged by the robber. We're going to activate our 3-1 port here. We're gonna trade in 6 ores into 2 wools. And we're gonna use a wool and a lumber to build a ship. And now we get to see what's in here. It's a forest. And we draw a 5. 5 is a very good number. And because we're the first to discover the forest, we get a lumber. We're going to use another lumber and the wool to build another ship. And now we get to discover here as well. Another forest. And we draw a number. Oh, it's a juicy 8. Excellent. And again, we get another lumber as a reward for discovering this land.
Okay, tomato people's turn. 8. So milk gets 1 brick, and tangerine gets 2 bricks. And tangerine also gets 2 wool, and metal gets 1 wool. Well, I didn't get any useful resources, and I only have 2 cards right now. There's not much I can do, so I think my turn is over.
We shall now commence resource production process. 4, 1 brick for metal, 1 brick for milk, 2 grain for the tangerine, and now 1 wool for tomato. Nothing we can do. My turn is over. Okay, now let's roll for the milk player. 4 again. So metal and milk each get a brick, and tangerine gets 2 grain, and tomato gets a wool. So the fog island is now finally taking shape, but I don't think I'm gonna go explore now. Just because I'm gonna try to get the ore here because I have an ore port. So the more ore I produce, the more resources I can get to, have more flexibilities. So I'm gonna use the ore port to use these 2 ore to get a lumber. And we're gonna spend 1 of the brick to build a road. I'm gonna try to get to here. So anyone willing? I have a brick I'm willing to trade away for a lumber. Any takers? No. No. Don't need a brick.
And no, we don't need a brick either.
Okay, then what's worth a try? So my turn's over. Here's to hoping we don't roll a 7, because I have way too many resources. And of course we roll a 7. So I had 12 cards. I'm going to discard these 6, because that's half of what I had. But now I get to decide where the pirate or robber goes and steal a card. I'm going to move the pirate to here and just steal a card from the tomato player. And I'm gonna use my lumber, grain, wool, and brick to build a new settlement on the fog island. And I'm also going to use a lumber and a brick to build a new road to further explore the island. And now we can see what this is. And it is just empty sea space. So no rewards for me. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the metal has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I actually get the longest roll from the metal player as well. I now have 2, 4, 5, 6 points. Plus 2 for longest row, 2 for largest army for a total of 10 points. 2 more points and I will win the game.
Oh my goodness, we have to do something, otherwise the Tangerine is gonna win the game. Please have a good roll. 7. Nobody has more than 7 cards, so nobody discards. We're gonna move the rubber to here to block the Tangerine people. And they only have 1 card, so we just steal 1 card. So there's nothing we can do right now, so our turn is over.
Commencing resource production row. 5. Tangerine people gets 3 ores here. And they also get a lumber from here. I would like to trade away my brick for a lumber or a grain. Any takers? No, don't need bricks. No, I need my lumber.
No, not a good deal.
What if I use 2 bricks? Any takers? Still no. No.
Nope, still not good.
Okay, then my turn is over. Let's roll for the milk people, and please give us a good roll. We have to stop the Tangerine people. 9. So we got nothing. But tomato and metal player each gets a lumber. And Tangerine gets 2 ore, and tomato gets an ore as well. And tomato also gets a grain. I would like to trade my brick for a lumber. Any takers? No. We need a lumber. No, don't need your brick.
No, we need our lumber as well. No deal.
Okay, then nothing I can do. My turn's over. Tangerine people's turn. Let's see who can win the game this turn. 5. Only we got resources. We have 3 ores from here and 1 lumber from here. I'm going to use my 3-to-1 port here. Trade away my 3 ore for a brick. And then along with the lumber I have, we're going to build a road. Is anyone willing? I'm willing to trade my ore for a brick. Anybody? No, nobody wants to trade with you because you're almost at the verge of winning. Okay, then be that way. My turn's over. Actually, before that, I'm gonna activate the port again to trade in another 3 ores for a brick. And now my turn is over.
Tomato people's turn. I hope for a really good roll, please. 6. So we get one grain, and the milk people gets 2 grain. And the milk people also get a lumber here. I'm now going to use my 2-to-1 wool port to trade in 2 of my wools into an ore right here. And I'm gonna use 3 ores and 2 grain to upgrade one of my settlement into a CD. And we're going to do this one right here. And my turn is over.
We will now commence resource productions. 11. We get 1 wool. Tomato player gets 2 wools. We would like to use our brick to trade for a grain. Any takers other than the Tangerine player? I'll give you my grain if you can give me 2 bricks instead. Okay, that is fine. We'll give you 2 bricks for 1 grain. We will now use the grain, wool, lumber, and brick to build a new settlement. We'll settle on the Fog Island. And our turn is over. Let's roll for milk player. 4. So us and the metal player each gets a brick. The Tangerine gets 2 grain. And the tomato gets 1 wool. So we're gonna use our 3-to-1 port here to trade in 3 of our bricks into a lumber. And then we're gonna use another brick with the lumber to build a road. And we'll use everything else, the brick, grain, lumber, and wool to build a settlement. Let's get some resources for Tangerine people. 7. No resources, but we get to steal a card. We're going to steal the tomato player's card at random. There's nothing I can do, and nobody else wants to trade with me because they're afraid I'm gonna win. So my turn is over.
We're praying for a good roll here. 9. So metal and tomato, so tomato gets 2 lumber and the metal gets 1 lumber. We also get an ore. The tangerine gets 2 ore and the milk gets 1 ore. And we also get a grain. We're gonna use our 2-to-1 wool port twice to trade in 4 wools into 2 bricks. And along with the 2 lumbers, we're gonna build 2 roads. And now we get to see what this region is. It's just an empty sea tile. And our turn is over.
We shall now commence resource production. 9. We get 1 lumber. Tomato gets 2 lumbers. Tomato also gets a ore. So does the milk. And the tangerine gets 2 ores. And tomato also gets a grain. We'll use a lumber and a brick to build a road. And now we'll discover this region right here. Just an empty sea space. And our turn ends. And let's roll the resources for the milk people. 6. And we get 2 lumber from here. And the other 6 is covered up by the rubber. And we're not gonna do anything, so we're gonna turn over to the tangerine player. And we shall now roll for the resources. 7. Since I had 11 cards, I must discard 5. And I'm going to discard these 5 cards. And now, I'm going to move the robber to here. And I'll take 1 card at random here. I'm just gonna roll a die. If it's greater than 3, we'll take the lumber. Okay, so we'll take a lumber. We're going to use our 3-to-1 port to trade in 3 ores for a wool. We're going to use the grain, lumber, and brick to build a new settlement. So now we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, and 4 from the largest army and longest row, so that's 11 points.
Let's get a good roll here for tomato people. 12. Nobody gets anything. I would like to use my lumber to trade for an ore. Anybody interested in it?
No need to use lumber. I don't have an ore. We don't have ores.
Okay, our turn ends.
Commencing resource production. 7. Nobody has more than 7 cards. Nobody discards. Since the tangerine people are on the verge of winning, we will now move the robber to their city and steal 1 card. They only have 1 card. Nothing we can do, so our turn is over. Okay, now let's roll for the milk people. 7 again, wow. So nobody has more than 7 cards. Let's just move it to here. Oh, but I cannot steal anybody. Okay, let's see here. It's okay. Take it for the team. So there's nothing I can do right now, so my turn ends as well. Okay, tangerine people's turn. 7 again. Time for revenge. We're going to move the robber to their gold field. Ha ha ha. And we're gonna steal a card. And that's it, our turn ends.
Okay, let's roll for the tomato people. 2. And the milk people actually gets a grain out of it. We didn't get any new resources, so we're gonna pass the turn.
Commencing resource production. 5. So the tangerine people gets 3 ores over here. And they also get a lumber. We didn't get any new resources. There's nothing we can do. Our turn is over. Okay, let's roll for the milk. 6. So we'll get 2 lumbers here, 2 grain, and the tomato player also gets 2 grain. We're going to use our 3-to-1 port here to trading 3 of our lumbers into an ore. And we're gonna use the 3 ores and 2 grain to upgrade to a city. This one. Now it's Tangerine people's turn. Let's see if we can end the game right here and now. 7.
Even though it's not our turn, we have 8 cards. So the tomato player has to discard 4 of them, and these are the 4 we're going to discard.
And we're going to move the robber to, let's say, here. And we're gonna steal from the milk player, which they only have 1 card. Nothing we can do, so the turn is over.
Okay, let's roll for the tomato. Good roll, please. 9. So we'll get an ore, but the tangerine and milk player also get 2 ores each. Also get 2 lumber, and the metal player gets 1 lumber, and we also get a grain. And we're just gonna use the 3 ore and 2 grain to upgrade one of our settlement into a city. And that's it.
We should now commence resource production. 4, we get nothing, but tangerine gets 2 grain, and tomato gets 2 wool. This other 4 is covered up. There's nothing we can do, our turn ends. And now let's roll for the milk people. 10. So the milk and the tomato each get 1 wool. And the metal also gets a wool. And this just means they can pick any resource from the bank. So they pick brick. And nothing we can do with these resources, so our turn is over. And now we shall roll. 7 again. And I had 10 resources, so I must discard 5. So I'm going to discard these 5. And now I'm going to move the robber back to the gold field and steal a card from the metal people. I'm now going to use 3 ores and 2 grain to upgrade one of my settlement. And now I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. 2 from the largest army and another 2 from the longest road. So that's 12 points in total. The Tangerine people have won the game. Wow, to be honest, I wasn't expecting this game to end so quickly. But the Tangerine people have won, they have got 12 points. And the fog item is not even completely revealed yet. So that's interesting. So I hope you will join me next time as we play the Settlers of Catan with the Cities and Knights expansion along with the Seafarer expansion.